Hello. You've graced us with your presence, ma'am. And yes, I did recently get a pair of Crocs. I used to have Crocs way back in the day, and one of my cats loved to chew on them. And I randomly got a new pair recently. There she is. She likes shoes. It's the Monday after I lost Oreo, and I'm working from home. Barely working, to be honest. I've been mostly just arranging meetings and stuff in my calendar. It's been a rough weekend overall. As with any loss, there are moments when you're, just going about your business and you're fine and everything feels okay, and then you see something or think of something or say something and it triggers all those feelings. So that's what it's been like. It's not the first time I've lost a pet. It's not the first time I've lost a pet suddenly or tragically, unfortunately. But every time it hurts, and he did make me feel happy for a whole year. So he was, the little cat that I adopted after losing another cat during the pandemic. So he was my pandemic adoption, and I didn't think we'd be here again so soon, but there you are. So I'm just taking it slow. I did tell people at work that I might not be very effective this week, also because I can't sleep. Little girl just keeps waking me up, and I don't know if she's just bored or lonely or what it is. I am trying to play with her a lot. I'm making a point of playing with her in the morning and in the afternoon and in the evening, which are the times when she would play with him. But she has never been a solitary cat. She came from a colony, and I don't know, I just, part of me suspects that she does need another cat. I cannot emotionally handle another cat at this moment. In a few months, more than likely it would be Oreo's mom, who lives in my mom's building and has a very nice temperament, and I've always wanted to take her in. I just haven't had the space, or I couldn't afford to have 3 cats. 2 cats is hard enough. But I'm not able to do that right now. Maybe in a few months, maybe by we're in November now. It's incredible to think it's been, October came and went in this way. So it is November now, and I would say by December, because I'll be on vacation and I can transition a cat in. I genuinely don't know that I'll be ready to adopt another cat in December. But if she keeps waking me up at 3 a.m., that might have to happen sooner rather than later, because that's what happened with her. That's the reason I brought her to live with me, other than the fact that I also brought her because she was sick too. Her brother, who I adopted first, who's the cat who passed away last year, he did not let me sleep for a solid 9 months and would wake me up every single night. When I adopted her, that behavior ended because he had someone to play with and keep him company all day, so I didn't have to worry about entertaining him for hours when I was at work. So we'll see. If I can't get any sleep with her, this may end up happening sooner rather than later, but I don't know that I'm emotionally ready for that yet. But we'll see. I picked up a matcha latte because I am so tired. But I also am trying to cut back on lattes to begin with, so this is not great. But also, on top of that, I'm trying to cut back on caffeine, and I know matcha has more caffeine, or just as much caffeine as coffee. But trying to break the coffee habit, I was like, I shouldn't have another cup of coffee. I should not. At least matcha feels like I'm doing something good for me. The illusion of green things making you think you're doing something good for yourself. It's not. But at least it's got the ECGCs or EGCGs, whatever they're called. Have to get to work soon. Like scheduled stuff. I'm sitting here in front of the laptop waiting for things, but that's how it's going so far. I uploaded the video today. I recorded all those scenes in the same way that I'm talking at the camera now. Like, it's weirdly comforting to just talk at the camera because you guys are, 99% of you are very kind and nice, and people have been very supportive. So it feels good to just get this out and not be like emotionally dumping on my friends and family as much, I guess. Sometimes it feels like I can connect with strangers on the internet more than real people in real life, and I'm sure that other people who do YouTube feel exactly the same way. So there's that. I submitted all the documentation for the pet insurance last night, and we'll see if any of it comes back to me. There's some sort of truck passing by. Anyhow, I do recommend getting pet insurance if you're able to afford it. It has saved me in the last year multiple times and might potentially save me from the very high cost of what eventually became end of life rather than, healing care. But it's very helpful to have pet insurance if you can afford it. I've not had pet insurance in the past, and it's expensive, and yeah, it makes a big difference. The earlier you can get it, the better, because you get lower fees and you have fewer pre-existing conditions, which is the question where it's like, I don't know, pre-existing condition why? There we go. There was a little low battery alert, so I gotta wrap this up. Pre-existing condition wise, sometimes you can't get stuff covered depending on the insurance you get, but heart issues were not one of the pre-existing conditions that Oreo had, so I might be able to not have to freak out about paying this off over the next year if the insurance kicks in. My little girl has come to join me. She's been lazy all day. Let's make a latte because we are exhausted. Yay. Okay. Pour that right. And I'm making some almond milk with a dash of cinnamon and a little bit of oat milk because that makes it thicker and therefore better for. So this is going to be my pick-me-up for the day. I'm going to keep it in here because I want this to actually stay warm, and I have a tendency lately of forgetting my coffee, so that's the plan. She's real thick, y'all, and you can see the cinnamon. Yum. I have had a lot of takeout the last few days. I really do understand why people bring over casseroles to people's homes when there's a death in the family or something like that, when someone's grieving. I am not a casserole person, however, because I'm Hispanic. We don't really do casseroles. We do giant pots of rice or noodles and stuff. But I don't live at home anymore, so that's not a thing I really have access to on the regular. I live in a very anonymous apartment building, so there's no casseroles for me, so there is leftovers from a Vietnamese place that I went to this weekend, which was actually very good. And just an impromptu place I went to. I have little girl hair. And this is one of those moments where I do actually want to cry. Because, you know, you guys would see that whenever I would have lunch at the table, both the cats would be on either side. So now there's just little girl, and she's jingling around. Obviously I'm eating tofu, I'm not going to give her any. But it is one of those, you know, the little moments where you notice the absence. It just is. And here we have the phenomenon known as sad desk lunch. It's actually quite tasty, but quite small because I was too lazy and relied on leftovers. We're whispering because I'm in my office. Trying to show her videos for cats, but she's not really interested. I do feel bad that she's alone, but we're trying. She's not as playful by herself, though. Sometimes she just wants to lay and not do anything. Don't we all? So it's Saturday, and have I done any writing this week? The answer is no. There's been zero writing. I mean, there has been a little bit of brainstorming, but I think I can safely say that NaNoWriMo as a concept is not going to happen for me this month. It's just not possible. I'm already a week in. I haven't really started anything. I haven't even started proofreading. I have been procrastinating by cleaning, as you can hear the Roomba going. All stuff that I needed to get to eventually, but definitely a distraction tactic, and that's just where we are today. So I am cleaning, and finally went through my drawers and cleared out like all the excess workout clothes and socks and pajamas and like all those things that are a little too worn to be your day-to-day clothes, but ends up becoming your like, oh, this is good clothes to get sweaty in, except it's just way too much at this point. So we've got those in a bag now. So that's what I've been doing in lieu of being productive, still being productive, not productive in what I should be. Mostly because I am still low-key running through like deep grief and depression, so it's been just one of those weeks where I've done a little bit of everything. I've actually been excessively productive in all the ways that I don't really need to be right now. In the easy ways. All the easy things have gotten done, which is good because they're all off my to-do list now. All the hard stuff, still waiting because I can't wrap my head around it. But I need to, because there is stuff that has deadlines, so I need to get back in the mindset. I need to focus this week. But for now, it is what it is. And my arm is getting shaky, so I'm sorry if this video keeps shifting along. Actually, speaking of NaNoWriMo, these were my NaNoWriMo shirts. I used to buy them because that was a thing I used to do, but I don't wear graphic tees, and I have worn them as both pajamas and exercise gear in the past. I hate this material. It is hot, it is sweaty, it is uncomfortable, but I don't want to throw them away or give them away. So I need to find a way to, I guess, keep them for now and let them go later. I'm not ready to let go, is what I'm saying. I cannot KonMari these, but I also don't really want to wear them, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I've been having a hard time letting stuff go. Roomba is Roombaing about. Good job, lady. There she goes. Thank you for your service, ma'am. So, yeah. I wish I was a quilter. Maybe I would quilt them, but I am not a quilter. I don't know. What do you do with something that you don't necessarily want to use for its intended purpose, but you're not ready to get rid of? Leave your opinions, comments, suggestions down below. So am I still cleaning to procrastinate? Yes. But I felt I need to do a PSA here. So I like to try different protein bars because I just don't eat enough protein, and I like to carry these because snacks. These are legitimately the worst protein bars I have ever had. They have amazing ads on Instagram, a big following. I don't know why, because they taste like chalk. I bought the variety pack. It came all the way from the UK. I did not know that when I ordered it. They were expensive and they taste terrible. I forced myself to eat the majority of the package, which I think was 12 bars total, and it was like a mix of like 3 times 4 or 4 times 3. I don't remember. I think 4 times 3 because there was another flavor. They are just so chalky. They're dry. They taste weird. They have a really bizarre aftertaste. They look like they will be delicious. They are not. They're vegan, which, you know, is always hit or miss with protein bars. Vegan protein bars tend to be way sandier, chalkier than a non-vegan protein bar. But legitimately, the worst ones. Like, do not waste your money on these. Do not fall for their very, very good advertising, because you look at the ads and they look absolutely delicious, but they are just awful. Don't do it. I'm gonna throw these out. I've been holding on to them for like the last couple of months. Most of the other bars I was only able to like choke down like half the bar, just because I felt like I wasted so much money on these. It was like almost like $40 that I spent on them. And if it's a good protein bar, I don't mind spending the money because it's a quality meal, and I usually do split them in half anyhow. But splitting these in half, I could not force myself to eat the other half. Like, I would carry it around for a few days and be like, the time has come to throw it out. And the time has come to throw these guys out because they are terrible. I'm not doing it. Behold the bag. Yes, those are Pickle Rick socks. That was a joke from a friend, but they're really tight and I don't need the ankle strangulation, so they're gonna go. It's Sunday and we had our first cold front, like a real cold front, and I made the TikTok baked oats, which I've been meaning to make for months, but I haven't really felt like doing that. That's a truck passing by. So we're gonna try it. I made the peanut butter jelly kind, but my air fryer is really small, so it got probably a little bit more broiled on top than really is intended, but I'm sure it tastes delicious. I need a cup. We've reached the time of year when I like to eat warm things, and I don't know, it's been a week of ups and downs emotionally, but I felt a little bit more hopeful. I think it's the cold front. I don't know. I'm not a person who really likes the summertime. I low-key think I might have a little bit of seasonal affective disorder, particularly related to summer. I always feel like my mood, my energy, my just like general sense of wellness just drops in the summertime. I don't know. I've never been diagnosed, and it's not to the point where I can't function or it affects my daily life, but I've always suspected. The last couple of weeks, the weather has been changing, and I've been feeling personally more energized and a little bit more like excited to do things. But then obviously with Oreo passing away, things kind of like went downhill, and that put a damper on things. And I've also had a lot of like, not conflict, but like conflicting feelings about stuff going on at work. So yeah, that's a much deeper and longer story. But I don't know, today, despite everything, despite, you know, the emotional week, I got, you know, the condolence letters from both the ER and the animal hospital, and that obviously set me off into another crying jag. I still feel a lot more excited today. I barely slept last night because somebody decided that it was the time to do tree maintenance overnight. So around 1 a.m., I was awoken to the sound of trees being mulched, and it kept going, and they're still out there. So it's the city, they're dealing with trees. Why they decided that daylight savings night was the night to do it, I have no idea what went into that thought process. Why not do it during the day? It's not a busy street. I don't know. These are questions I asked myself as I lay in my bed, unable to sleep because I kept hearing trees being mulched. Like, it's really close. It's like on the corner of my street. So there's that. But even despite that, despite the fact that I probably slept a total of like 4 solid hours without interruption, I feel a little bit more hopeful. So we're gonna dig into this thing. This was a half recipe, and it's pretty big. This little ramekin is pretty large, so I don't know what a full recipe was supposed to look like. It's peanut butter jelly. I'm really hoping this tastes good. The half recipe called for half an egg, which, like, how do you divide an egg? So we put the full egg in there. So this might be eggier than intended also. It looks good. I got a bit of the peanut butter in there because I did not mix it, so I just plopped it in because I just didn't read the instructions very carefully. It was early and I barely slept, so it's mushier than a cake should be. Maybe if it's so hot still. I don't know if I'm supposed to let this thing cool, but like, this is breakfast, so I like a hot cake. Maybe it gets harder as it cools down, so don't do what I do, but it is good. I would like to try this with chocolate chips. I think the chocolate chip option sounds really good. Maybe I would add some vanilla to it or something else. Or maybe I would just mix in the peanut butter properly and see what it tasted like. I'll link the recipe in the description down below because it was one for an air fryer as opposed to using a full, I mean, it had Instant Pot, air fryer, and oven options. So I don't turn on my oven unless it's 30 degrees outside. It's too hot in here otherwise. It almost reminds me of the flavor of a crepe. Like that's the texture. It's like the texture of a crepe. Oh, look, here we go. Got some peanut butter action there. I like it. Definitely I would mix the peanut butter. The plopping is fun, but you want it spread out. Okay, it's good. I'll pop it down below. Worth a try. It's super easy. It's just like pop it in the blender, pour it in, and I mean, I found a ramekin that fit my mini air fryer. 20 minutes, that's all it took. Yeah, it's really good once you mix that peanut butter in. I don't know if I'll eat the whole thing, but it is nice. I mean, I might. It looks bigger, but it's so airy. Baby girl's going to the box. I'll spare you all the sounds. The verdict, it is actually really good, but I am going to save half of it because I want to see what the difference is once I let it cool texture-wise. I imagine it would be more cake-like consistency, but when it's warm, it definitely has like a pancake or crepe kind of vibe. Like there's no flour in it, but it has the oat as the flour. So it has that, like, you put egg and flour together and it's not a proper cake texture. I don't know how to explain it, but it is good.